Did NFL GMs start a group chat called Let's Cause Chaos? Because this offseason was pure madness. Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler. Seriously. The Commanders drafted like it was fantasy football, and Debo Samuel got traded for pocket change. If you expected a quiet spring, think again. 2025 brought drama, twists, and one QB who still won't retire. Let's recap the wildest offseason moves with a dash of sarcasm and a lot of disbelief. The Pittsburgh Steelers build a super team. Because why not? The Pittsburgh Steelers apparently looked at their disappointing 2024 season and said, let's fix this the Madden way by trading for every superstar that's ever touched a football. Their first move? Oh, just casually stealing DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks. They gave up a second-round pick and a snack pack, and in return, got a 6'4" monster with Olympic speed and biceps that can bench press a school bus. Seattle fans were understandably confused. We gave up DK for what now? A draft pick and some waffle fries. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh celebrated like they'd won the Super Bowl. And honestly, who could blame them? Aaron Rodgers shows up in Pittsburgh like it's an episode of Hard Knocks. Right when the ink was drying on the DK deal, in walked Aaron Rodgers, wearing a black and gold hoodie and the confidence of a man who owns a dozen ayahuasca candles. Yes, the same Rodgers who ghosted the Jets after one healthy snap in 2023 decided to make the most unexpected comeback since the McRib, and he did it in Pittsburgh. Rodgers signed a one-year deal with the Steelers, and suddenly, Pittsburgh looked like the NFL's version of a dad band that recruited Beyoncé. They didn't stop there. They also snagged Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith from Miami in exchange for Minkah Fitzpatrick. We don't know what kind of Jedi mind tricks Mike Tomlin is using on rival GMs, but somebody get this man a cape and a sequel. Debo Samuel leaves San Francisco and breaks Niner Nation's heart. Meanwhile, in the land of sourdough and high-priced rent, Debo Samuel was quietly packing his bags. The 49ers traded their beloved wideback, that's wide receiver plus running back for you uncultured folks, to the Washington Commanders for, wait for it, a fifth-round pick. Yes, a fifth. That's like trading your Ferrari for a used blender and a coupon to Red Lobster. Niners fans immediately entered the 5 stages of grief. Debo was the heart of their offense, their sideline hype man, and the only guy who could score touchdowns while stiff-arming 3 defenders into next week. His departure was so unceremonious, it felt like getting dumped via group text. The Commanders go full NFL 2 K25 franchise mode. You know those Madden players who turn salary cap settings off and just sign every good player available? That's basically what the Commanders did. They picked up Debo, added Laramie Tunsil to protect their QB like a mama bear protects her cubs, and rounded things off by bringing in Von Miller, Bobby Wagner, and Minkah Fitzpatrick for good measure. Whatever was in Washington's front office water cooler, it wasn't Gatorade. This was a franchise that had just decided it was done with mediocrity and ready to become the Avengers. Their motto must be, draft picks are for losers. The Raiders trade for Geno Smith. Because nothing makes sense anymore. Over in Las Vegas, the Raiders were busy hiring Pete Carroll, giving the team a dad-grandpa energy that feels oddly comforting. Then they did what every normal team does during a rebuild. They traded for Geno Smith. Yes, the Geno Smith who once bounced around the league like a pinball. But here's the plot twist. Geno has quietly become good. In fact, Vegas fans are cautiously optimistic, which is new and weird. With Pete Carroll at the helm, the Raiders might just shock everyone and finish above .500, or they might go full nuclear meltdown in Week 6. Either way, it'll be entertaining. The Vikings and Titans decide linemen are the new skill players. While the rest of the league was obsessed with flashy moves, the Minnesota Vikings pulled off a move that no one noticed, because linemen don't sell jerseys. But trust us, they should. The Vikes went on a buffet spree, signing Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, Aaron Banks, Jonathan Allen, and Javon Hargrave, all beef, all brawn, all business. It was like someone told Minnesota, you're not allowed to sign anyone under 300 pounds. Their new trench gang could double as nightclub bouncers. Meanwhile, the Titans said goodbye to pass rusher Harold Landry, who signed with the Patriots. thus ensuring Bill Belichick's defense continues to look like a Game of Thrones wall. Jalen Ramsey and Minkah Fitzpatrick trade places. Like it's Freaky Friday. Perhaps the strangest trade of the offseason was the Jalen Ramsey for Minkah Fitzpatrick swap. Picture this. 2 All-Pro DBs, arguably 2 of the best in the league, just switch places like it's a corporate job rotation. Ramsey landed in Pittsburgh. Fitzpatrick went to Miami. Dolphins fans rejoiced. Steelers fans nodded approvingly. Neutral fans just stared at the trade ticker and whispered, "What even is this offseason?" It was the kind of deal that makes you check if your phone's been hacked. But hey, chaos is what we're here for, right? Denver sneaks into the offseason party and leaves with all the snacks. While the rest of the AFC was throwing chairs, Denver quietly snuck in through the back door and walked away with a stack of solid signings. First, they gave Evan Engram a deal to be their new tight end, a man so athletic he could probably play 6 positions and coach special teams on the side. Then they snagged Talanoa Hufanga, the Samoan safety and human wrecking ball, from the 49ers for $45 million over 3 years. Oh, and Courtland Sutton just signed a new $92 million deal, probably while sipping iced tea and watching everyone else panic. The Broncos didn't make the biggest moves, but they made smart ones, and that's even scarier. NFL veterans retire, prompting a league-wide midlife crisis. Not every headline was a banger. Some were bittersweet. A wave of legendary NFL veterans said their goodbyes in 2025, including CJ Mosley, Patrick Peterson, Ndamukong Suh, and Tyron Smith. Somewhere out there, a whole generation of fans just realized they're old now. These are the guys who made you scream at your screen for a decade. They were part of your Sundays, your fantasy lineups, and your arguments at the bar. Their retirements marked the end of an era and the beginning of a bunch of former NFL player starts podcast announcements. Fantasy football is now a horror movie. Fantasy football managers are already crying in July. Cooper Kupp is now in Seattle. Justin Fields is a Jet. Najee Harris is a Charger. And nobody knows what's real anymore. ESPN analysts are updating rankings like they're defusing a bomb. Do I start Debo in Washington? Can I trust Geno in Vegas? Is Rodgers going to play the whole season or retire to host a philosophy podcast? Draft day this year will feel like a blindfolded knife fight. Good luck, and may the waiver wire be ever in your favor. And there you have it. The craziest, weirdest, most jaw-dropping NFL offseason we've seen in years. Trades that made 0 sense, teams going full Madden franchise mode, and GMs handing out contracts, like Oprah giving away cars. But hey, we're not complaining. We're just here for the drama, the memes, and maybe one more Aaron Rodgers comeback story before he buys a ranch in Montana and disappears forever. If you enjoyed this video, do us a solid and smash that like and subscribe.